找另一半究竟是选自己喜欢的人，还是喜欢自己的人呢？这个话题也算是千古。
When choosing a partner, should you pick someone you like or someone who likes you? This topic is an age-old riddle, but it's not hard at all for Xiaomi. Why? I'll give an example. Yesterday, a big bro came to consult me. Very outstanding. He's 33 this year. Bachelor's, master's, PhD, all completed. Annual income around 300,000. Height 185 meter. Weight 170 jin, about 85 kilogram. He ran into this problem. On one side, there's a Gen Z girl, born after 2000, who is extremely enthusiastic about him. First, let me introduce his basic background. He said, "I've had 3 relationships, but I'm an avoidant attachment type and quite severe, so each relationship was just a shallow taste. Among them were women with high education and excellent looks. I desire sex, but I'm also somewhat afraid of it. To this day, I'm still a virgin. Just like that Taobao #2 guy I posted before, also a virgin. I've noticed. Why are there so many male PhDs who are virgins?" He said, "Up to now, I've been single for 3.5 years. His ideal type: highly educated, fair skin, long straight black hair, pretty face, a cool divided by aloof girl. High education and high income would benefit family life and future child rearing." He explained the reason for his criteria. "Long black straight hair is just my personal kink. A cool divided by aloof vibe gives me a sense of security. I can't accept clingy types. Best if she can help my career." His 3 exes. The first was 1 year older, a 3rd-tier undergrad, tall and pretty. They broke up because he felt she was too immature. The second was 5 years older, master's from a top school. They broke up because she was too clingy, and once he realized she was 5 years older, he decisively ended it. The third was his favorite, a PhD from a top school, cute lolly type. At that time, I wanted to be with her every day, hugging and kissing. Later, she prepared to go abroad, so it became long distance. But she was very feminist fighting online, on Douban, Xiaohongshu, etc., arguing daily that children should take the mother's surname, saying that women's housework is worth 20,000 a month, that the bride price is birth compensation, citing celebrity cases and hate men topics. When she saw I wouldn't actively cater to that, she proposed a breakup. He said, "Maybe my avoidant nature is just an excuse for being scummy, but I happen to still be a virgin." Now he's met a female coworker, Gen Z, born in 2001, very enthusiastic. This girl has dyed yellow hair, darker skin, looks decent pretty, with that lignin divided by SE Asian look. Average education, warm and lively. And in heat for me, his exact words, high sexual interest, really desires to sleep with me, likes clinging to me, wants to kiss me, has sent me tons of messages. As for her family background, I don't know if it will help my future. Most likely won't help my future or career. He said the company regularly organizes mixers for single men and women. I just encountered a perfect ideal type, but she's avoidant too and has already blocked me. Second, I still have chances to meet highly educated women, but whether they suit my taste, the success rate and the time required are all unknown, and I don't want to waste too much time on that. He said, "If I choose this girl who's chasing me, the advantage is there's no trial and error cost. It's success right away. She's very young, looks are decent. Maybe her vitality could influence me. The downside is she's overly enthusiastic, which triggers my avoidant attachment. And she's not my ideal type. I'll feel hard to accept. She won't help my work or career. If I give up this girl and continue seeking my ideal type, maybe I won't feel hard to accept. I hope to find someone who makes me actively clingy, like my third ex, someone with a soul resonance. Maybe her family resources would help my career or life. The downside is success rate likely isn't high, with I must pay a high pursuit cost. And after getting her, I might feel just so anyway. The opportunity cost of giving up the current option is too high." When I read this, I was really angry. How can this guy be like this? Of course, at the start of our chat, I immediately shot down his ideal type. I said, "You won't find your ideal type. Right now, this little bro actually has no choice because only one person is pursuing him. The Gen Z girl he looks down on. He literally has no choice. But in his mind, can I spend some time and effort to pursue my ideal type? So I helped him dissect his ideal type. For him, it's basically unattainable. Why? Take his third ex as example. Top school PhD, very pretty, and she made him want to hug and kiss daily. Before they became long distance, he hadn't noticed her issues. Afterward, he found she was extremely feminist fighting, with zero tolerance. Frankly, aim high and you might land in the middle. It's hard to find someone who meets 100% of your demands. If you can get 70, 80, 90%, that's already great. But perfectionism makes people break up. So first, his demands are too high. Second, he has avoidant attachment. If someone actively clings to him, he wants to run. Think about it. A girl who likes you naturally wants hugging and kissing. Unless she doesn't like you the person, but likes your family wealth or your income. This bro's annual 300,000 inches of first-tier city isn't low, but it's not high income. He didn't specify family background. So let's assume average. If his family were strong, he would have said so. Don't just look at what a person says. Look at what they don't say. Silence often means doesn't have it. If you do have it, bro, update me later. If someone doesn't like you, those highly educated, high-income, very beautiful women are never short of suitors. And you're not good at providing emotional value. Why should such a woman choose you? What you could encounter when you were young versus at 33 now, two different things. You missed the best window to find your ideal type. Now he even wants the woman to help his career. All men want a great father-in-law. But why do you think you can demand that? In short, his demands aren't reasonable. He doesn't have matching hard or soft conditions. Those high EDU, high-income beauties have many options. Why choose him? How does he beat the competition? He has little competitiveness. Even on personality divided by attachment alone, he fails. I won't say it's impossible to ever meet such a woman, but even if he did and they dated longer, his perfectionism and poor tolerance would make it impossible to go the distance, no marriage. After hearing my explanation, he began to realize his demands were indeed too high. I said, either lower your standards or stop being avoidant. Dating an avoidant is exhausting, regardless of gender. If he doesn't like her, why should he choose her? But the group of women he targets are the ones with tons of options. If they like him, they'll want to hug and cling. And they must have no flaws on top of that. By his own standards, none of the 3 exes qualifies. Even the last one, though, he liked her. Her feminist fighting he couldn't stand. He didn't find what he wanted when young, and now he's older. Expecting to find such a person now is almost zero. Not absolutely zero, but close. So, many people seem to have choices, but actually don't. This bro is too greedy, wants too much. If he insists, he may not marry in this lifetime. Or, later when older, maybe a divorced woman possible. But that would make him even more unbalanced. He's a virgin. Asking him to marry a divorcee would be worse than killing him. Also, this video is posted at his request. First, he wants to see netizens' comments. Maybe someone will offer higher wisdom. Should he lower standards? Or improve soft skills like personality, competitiveness? Otherwise, it's really hard to find someone. So I truly hope everyone watching, if you're older and want marriage, want to find a partner but haven't found a fit, consider paying Xiaomi to scold you awake, or do a mate selection positioning. Why? Because in this case, his demands are key to tragis. Even when he met the third one he liked, he couldn't hold on. What's the use? His standards are high. He couldn't keep her. And then he blamed her feminist fighting. Money people don't realize. Their standards are too high. If you don't promptly adjust your mate criteria, you'll truly become an older leftover man or an older leftover woman.
现实生活中真的没有几个人可以笑着走完整个婚姻，或者是
In real life, very few people can smile their way through an entire marriage or smile all the way to old age together. Don't be fooled by the internet people presenting how blissful their married life island. they also have messy sides. Who doesn't have soot on the bottom of their pot, so to speak? And some keep promoting how great individualism is, how great not marrying island people are ordinary. Do they never feel unhappy? Never feel lonely? Unless they're saints. Honestly, we can skip that kind of talk. So don't listen solely to what others say. I've been married 8 years. Let me briefly share my feelings about marriage. Don't fill any lifestyle with excessive expectations or fantasies. No lifestyle is perfect. Most unmarried people envy others' big families with children, and many who are married wish for divorce. Why such a huge contrast? It's your mindset. Before marriage, you may think, marriage is like this or that. But before marriage, you lived with your parents. You could do whatever you wanted because they're your parents. They can endlessly spoil you and tolerate your selfishness. But in marriage, do you think an outsider can tolerate your selfishness? Right? So don't idealize. Any lifestyle or relationship mode must return to reality. After marriage, regardless of men or women, you must handle multiple roles. For example, for men, learn to be a father and husband, shoulder the family's financial responsibility, speaking of most families. For women, mainly handle the home, raise children, and deal with mother-in-law relationships, etc. How do you do these roles well? It sounds like just a household matter, simple enough. But every role requires deep involvement. You have to manage every relationship well. It's complicated. As a man, you might agonize over balancing your mother and your wife, or worry about not making enough money. As a woman, you might feel you lost economic freedom, have no time freedom, stay home with kids, or wasted your youth, plus in-law issues. These are the realities of marriage. Hearing all this, do you think marriage is worthless? It sounds exhausting, but no. Facing all of life and relationships is about your mindset. Marriage can bring a sense of belonging. In your 20 seconds, you often don't have that being alone, not feeling a sense of achievement, not knowing whether to go home or not, feeling lost. A good marriage gives you two people striving together for the family. So, be clear about the life you want. Don't blindly choose just because you see singles living freely and think, should I be single? Should I divorce? That's not realistic. Once you enter marriage, you must think about how to run and maintain it well, not run from it. Every lifestyle has flaws and won't align with your preferences 100%. Same with friendships. People can't always cater to your emotional needs, and you'll argue. So whatever you choose, think it through. Don't be blind. Weigh pros and cons, then decide. If you want to live well in any lifestyle, the only way is to do well yourself, have your own economic base and strength. Don't rely on others. Why is the divorce rate among celebrities so high? Because they have money. They won't stay to fulfill someone else's specific needs. Depending on others is worse than depending on yourself. To sum up, if you're confused or torn about whether to continue a relationship, it means you're lacking something within. When you have enough inner confidence and strength, you won't cling, won't agonize or burn yourself out over a relationship. If, after weighing pros and cons, you find you can't leave someone but also lack the ability to stand alone, then that is what you must work on. When you can stand on your own, you won't be stuck on these issues. So, if you're not married, listen to what I'm saying. This is real talk. Ignore those vague online notions. They're meaningless. Interaction between people is a kind of game divided by negotiation. If you're excellent and capable, you stand taller. Don't burn yourself out. Everything external stems from your internal thinking. Change your perspective and approach, and the situation changes. Grow yourself, and you won't need anyone else to provide emotional value. Keep going. Growing yourself is the best path. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us.
89年的农村大龄剩女单身
An unmarried rural leftover woman, born in 1989, a single woman living like a bachelor in the countryside, farming the land. This year, the watermelons and sweet melons I planted didn't sell very well. They are extremely cheap, only a few cents per jin. I harvested 3,000 jin of sweet melons, and after 3 days of trying to sell them, I still haven't finished. The weather was scorching hot, over 30 degrees, so I just went home to take a nap. Today, my grandma made noodles again. I don't like noodles. I'll just make some stir-fried dried beef to get by with a couple of bites. I was born in 1989. So this year, I am already 37 years old. Some people ask me, am I divorced or never married? I have never once been married. I have never once given birth to a child. So tell me, am I divorced or unmarried? It's really upsetting. Lately, I often think at my age now, still unmarried, childless. I keep wondering, should I still get married or not? It feels like I already have one foot in the grave. If I don't marry, I'm afraid I'll regret it in the future. But if I do marry, I'm afraid I won't be happy. Sigh. Right now, I am so conflicted, so torn, so lost, so anxious.
有人问我，离婚后还能找到真爱吗？
Someone asked me, after divorce, can a woman still find true love? Does divorce mean you can't pursue happiness anymore? Absolutely wrong. But remember this iron rule. Remarriage can be slow, but you must not gamble and lose again. We can stay single. Clarity is better than compromise 100 times over. We can marry late. Different people bloom at different times. Someone will come later just for you. But you must never marry the wrong person again. Marrying the wrong one consumes your life more than being single ever will. A mistaken first half of life is enough. In the second half, you must choose precisely and carefully. Marriage is for happiness. Divorce is also for happiness. Being single, same as well. Do not let age anxiety bind your choices. You deserve someone who makes you feel that remarriage is truly a blessing.
美色、颜值并不是说上架的筹码。你在婚恋与社交
Physical beauty and attractiveness are not actual bargaining chips put on the shelf. In marriage and social relationships, your true value match is often hidden in the logic of reality. If you think that just by having outstanding looks you can marry into a wealthy family, you'll find yourself blocked outside the door of marriage. You will never get in. Rich people, when looking for a partner, either go for marriages between powerful families, or they marry old classmates they've known for years and know inside out. It's just like nowadays, female celebrities all prefer to marry into families with dowries because both sides can support and promote each other's careers. Much more practical than simply finding some rich guy. Stop fantasizing about Cinderella-style turnarounds. In reality, people from different social circles really do find it hard to come together. If you want to exchange looks for money, you'll easily fall into a big trap. Some girls think that attaching themselves to a rich man means they can lie back and win. But those men have long since figured things out. Giving you tens of thousands each month is just like paying wages from their company. It can be used to offset taxes and also serves as a way to cut losses quickly. As for giving you a house, at most they let you live in it. The ownership remains under their company's name. Rich people are shrewd. If you want them to be taken advantage of and throw money away, it's extremely difficult. And in this kind of relationship, the competition is fierce. In the end, the majority of women end up with nothing but empty hands. A good marriage is about running life together, like partners. Marriage is not a poverty relief program. The key is whether the two people can mutually support each other. Money is certainly important, but emotional value, division of family roles, and the ability to withstand risks are equally critical. If your eyes are only fixed on the other person's pocket, sooner or later you will run into problems.
彩礼大家就不要争了啊，我建议定为女方3年的工资。
Everyone, stop arguing about the bride price. My suggestion is to set it at the woman's 3 years of salary. Because if she marries you and has children, her income for about 3 years will definitely be affected. So, the bride price should at least equal the woman's 3 years of wages. For example, if the woman earns $150,000 a year, then 3 years' wages would be $450,000. So the bride price should be $450,000. If the woman only earns $50,000 a year, then 3 years would be $150,000. This is just considered a starting price. And again with the starting price. What is this, a taximeter? To put it bluntly, don't just say it's 3 years of lost work. Let's say as soon as we finish the wedding and engagement, we stop working completely. Count it as 30 years. That would be $1.5 million in total. Isn't that great? A lifetime of not needing to work, not worrying about food or drink. If you want, then ask openly and boldly. Anyway, it's all just a dream. And in dreams, it's fine to magnify things endlessly. Because once you return to reality, Rest assured, no one is going to give you that. If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me.
我老公要挟我，在我婚前的房本上要加上
My husband asked me to add his name to the title of the home I owned before marriage, otherwise he'll divorce me. Sisters, what should I do now? My husband and I met in October 2021, and we only officially got together in mid-December. At first, getting along was very harmonious. But as time went by, slowly there were conflicts. He is someone who never looks for the reason in himself. Every time we have a conflict, he immediately blames me and says, "You shouldn't be angry." He thinks he has absolutely no problems. I admit my personality is a bit quick-tempered, but it's also because he makes me angry. Still, when we were dating, most of the time it was pretty sweet. Aside from a few small quarrels, we were basically satisfied with each other. After 5 months together, that is, in May 2022, I took him to meet my parents. At that time, we were both working in a second-tier city outside our home province, both in public institutions, relatively stable. After meeting the parents, everyone felt things were fairly satisfactory. In December of the same year, I went with him to his hometown to meet his parents. He's an only child. The situation then was also special. Because the pandemic controls were still strict, our work units rarely approved leave, and it was really difficult to go back to his hometown. So, without informing either set of parents, the two of us just directly registered our marriage. This year, his parents came to our city to discuss the bride price. Where I'm from, the customary amount is 168,000, 16.8. When my older brother got married, that's what it was too. But after his parents learned that, they refused the 16.8 on the grounds that their family's finances were poor, and their living standard wasn't high, and said the bride price could only be 100,000. This created a disagreement. To be very clear, my parents would not keep a penny of the bride price. It would all go toward buying and decorating our home. And other than this 100,000 bride price, his parents said they could not help us with buying a home, buying a car, or renovations. Not one more cent. We would have to rely on ourselves. When I started working, my parents had already bought me a fully paid-off apartment. So, by comparison, I felt somewhat dissatisfied with his parents. He's their only son. How could his parents not support him? There's another point about his father that I don't like. He especially likes to brag in front of us about how capable and outstanding his son Island. A few days ago, we were preparing to put down a deposit on an apartment. This apartment made me suddenly see him clearly. When we were signing the subscription agreement, the sales rep casually typed in the names and put my name before his. After he saw it, he forcefully demanded the sales rep change the order, insisting his name must go first, and mine second. Even though I kept explaining to the sales rep that the order didn't matter, he still insisted strongly and said if they didn't change it, then he wouldn't buy the apartment. Honestly, I hadn't thought anything of it. If from the start his name had been put before mine, I wouldn't have thought anything either. But I truly didn't expect that when my name appeared first, he would react so strongly. Just this one incident made me feel that his machismo has seeped into his bones. Later, I talked about this with my dad. My dad also felt that for a man to fuss like that, to have such a small heart, really isn't suitable for married life. As for this incident, in the end, the contract still followed his wishes, putting his name first. Now this apartment is almost fully renovated. My dad handled every renovation step because my dad sells doors. So all the doors in our home were made by my dad for free, costing close to over 10,000. His family didn't pay a penny afterward, nor did they put in any effort. Now I'm preparing for pregnancy. He wants his mother to come help take care of the baby later. Before, the plan was just to take care of the child. But somehow, now it's become, he wants his mother to come live with us permanently, and in the future share the household. What he had proposed before was, after we have a child, his mother would come help take care of the child for a few years, and then she could go back. But now the meaning is, his mother would live with us long term, at least until the child enters primary school, and then we'd see whether she wants to go back. If his mother wants to live with us, then she will live with us long term. but I personally don't really want to live with my mother-in-law long term. So we quarreled again. I didn't expect he would blow up at me, sisters. He said, "This apartment is mine. My mom can live as long as she wants." When I heard that, I was furious. Later, things calmed a bit, and he said, "Let's just have her live for 6 years first and then see." I was exhausted from the arguing. This year, because my parents' business has been difficult, and they don't have pensions, and my brother also doesn't have a stable job, the apartment my parents bought my brother is still on a mortgage, and my brother has been paying the loan himself. Considering that the fully paid apartment my parents bought me is pretty far from my workplace. Recently, we discussed, very doubt, selling my fully paid premarital apartment. The money from the sale would be used in part as my parents' pension, and another part would still be mine, because when that apartment was purchased, my parents put in $500,000 and I put in $100,000. But while this was still under discussion, my husband found out and immediately fought with me. He thinks that since we're already married, that apartment has something to do with him, so he disagrees with giving money to my parents. He's unwilling to give even a penny. He said at most, when my parents are 60 inches the future, we can give them 1,000 yuan a month as support. He'd even calculated it. That apartment is now worth about 500,000. 1,000 a month is just over 10,000 a year. He feels there's no way he'd lose out. When I heard that, I was really shocked. I didn't expect he could be so calculating. Because of this, we quarreled again. I feel that if we sell that fully paid apartment, we should give part to my parents and keep part for myself. But he refused to give an inch. In the end, sisters, I compromised again. But unexpectedly, last night he fought with me again. He said the reason is that my personality is too strong and that this apartment gives me my confidence. So he demanded that I must add his name to my premarital apartment. I said, "This is a place my parents bought me before marriage. I can't add your name now." I didn't expect he'd directly say he wants a divorce. Right now, the situation is our current marital home had a 250,000 down payment from him. I contributed the 100,000 from the bride price, together 350,000. My parents chipped in 50,000 for utilities and such. I also spent another 50,000 to buy a parking space. Most of the renovations were paid from my Housing Provident Fund, around 70,000 plus. If we divorce now, there's a big chance this apartment would go to him, since he contributed more cash, and I already have another apartment in my name. But this marital home, from bare concrete to fully finished, was all the effort and sweat of me and my family. Thinking of that, I really can't bear it. I could give him more money. I want to keep this apartment. But he also wants this apartment. Actually, he doesn't really want to stay in our city anymore, but he says, for the sake of his pride, he still wants this apartment. I really didn't expect that getting impulsively married and getting the certificate meant I chose the wrong person, and now I'm especially miserable. I'm only 28 this year. I didn't expect that not long after entering the besieged city, and after entering the besieged city, I'd have to face all this. A few years ago, my mom had a serious illness, and only recently got a bit better. I don't want to worry my parents. But if we really divorce, there's no way to hide it from them. Right now, my husband's demand is clear. If I don't add his name, he'll divorce me. But I know in my heart, that is my premarital home. I definitely won't add his name. So sisters, do you have any good ideas? I hope those with more experience than me can give me some advice.
上一个视频中，我婆婆把这
Follow up to the previous video, where my mother-in-law stormed in and forcibly separated us while we were going at it. Here at Island. Let me tell it directly in first person. That day after I left the house, I went straight to a friend's place and stayed 2 days. For those 2 days, I kept thinking whether I should tell my parents or not. After all, this marriage was a choice I insisted on making. It hasn't even been a year, and this kind of thing has happened. I didn't know how to face my parents, or how to open my mouth to tell them. For these 7 days, my friend kept persuading me to think thrice before acting, and to be absolutely clear before making a decision. Actually, during the days I was away, My husband knew where I was. If I had gone straight back home, things now would not be so calm, and my parents would not have let it go so easily. So I could only go to my friends. I only have 1 or 2 friends. Of course he knew where I was, but he didn't come over. He just tried to make peace online. After 2 days of online peacemaking, on the 3rd day he planned to come over. I felt there was no need for him to come anymore, because at that moment, I received other information from a friend in my husband's hometown in the countryside, a bit of a relative, someone around our age whom I'd met when we visited before, and gradually became friends. He sent me some information, namely, my mother-in-law's handling of things after the incident. She went home, and in front of all the aunts and villagers, started saying some very unpleasant things. She kept saying I was like a seductress, and that I'd sucked my husband down to a dry twig, that I dressed too provocatively. Fortunately, my father-in-law usually doesn't go out. He wasn't there that day either. Otherwise, the whole family would have needed to wash their eyes. And she said I have no money but still dared to hold out my hand and even had the nerve to demand such a high bride price. In the end, it always came back to that damned 128,000, 12.8. Some aunts of unclear relation even messaged me or gossiped outside about me, saying I wasn't worth that price. Originally, I felt that since my husband and I loved each other, some problems could be solved and we could sit down and discuss the future calmly. But now, I feel there's absolutely no need. So, as not to affect my friend, I moved out directly without meeting my husband and went straight to a hotel. After going to the hotel and thinking it through carefully, I finally called my mom. With the way this matter had spread, there's no way my husband didn't know. He knew, and he hadn't defended me with even 1 sentence. So I felt there was no need to cover for him, and I decided to call my mom. After my mom learned of it, she was extremely angry, and she and my dad came straight to the hotel and took me home. Once we got home, my mom scolded me first. Then she comforted me. After that, we decided we should separate, but not so easily. I started organizing evidence, including my husband's apology messages, and the whole before and after of what had been rumored. I wrote everything clearly, and added the footage of my mother-in-law having a duplicate key made and opening our door to come in. The doorway camera captured it. After organizing it all, I posted it in the extended family group chat. I don't understand how a mother-in-law can secretly make a key to someone else's home and then directly open the door and walk in. Even making the duplicate key is one thing, but to open the door and, upon seeing the couple in the middle of intimacy, feel no shame and still do what she did. Whose fault is this, really? After this happened, my dad was still waiting for my husband to come and apologize, wanting to give him a chance. Sure enough, my husband came on the surface to make peace, but in reality, not at all. He pulled me aside privately and asked whether I hadn't gone too far, saying that since he came to apologize, I should now go apologize to his mother, that my words had been too harsh, that what I did was wrong, and that I didn't give any face to an elder. Oh, so we must give face to elders? Elders' face is face, but is our face not face? He wanted me to apologize to his mother in person first, and then apologize again to her in the family group chat. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. What a good husband I have. Why have we had no movement for half a year? Is it my problem? He can't even raise to the occasion, thus is arties, tine aid, WW tinas. So, of course, there's been no movement. He thinks it's fine, okay. He may think it's fine, but I do not. If he isn't normal, I am. I can't accept this, Endecido, and I can't keep going. I demanded we separate. At that point, my dad, who didn't know the inside story yet, was still lecturing me, saying since he'd come to apologize, we should talk things out. And there's no need to make a big scene now. That my husband is caught in the middle and it's not easy, and I should be more understanding of him. Understand what, exactly? He didn't know what had actually happened. So I told him, my husband said my words were harsh, and wanted me to apologize to my mother-in-law in person. After I said that, my dad didn't know what to say anymore. He felt there was no reason to continue talking, and told my husband not to come again, just go straight to the formalities. So my husband went home. The next day, my mother-in-law came straight to my parents' home, causing a huge scene, saying all sorts of things about our family, demanding we refund the entire 12.8 and also compensate their family. My dad felt there was no way to resolve this privately anymore, and that we should hand it over to professionals. So we found professionals and planned to hand the matter over completely so that the two of us wouldn't have to contact each other again. Let professionals handle professional matters and resolve it. But during this process, soon after handing it over, I heard another piece of news, that my mother-in-law, my husband, and the whole family had been brooding over that 12.8 all along, and my mother-in-law had already found someone who only needed $828,000. They wanted me to refund the full amount so they could make a big profit. Use 2.8 to get a new one, a cheaper, fresh person. They think such a person is more suitable for their family. Well then, bless their family. Bless them and block them. Best if they can find someone who can marry into their family and even bring them 12.8 on top. That would be even better. Bless them. After blocking this matter, they should be handed over to professionals to handle properly. Thank you to all the sisters for your advice. I've seen it all. Thank you.
什么时候想要谈恋爱呢？
我一直都想。
When do you want to fall in love? I've always wanted to. In my short 24 years of life, I've thought about it every single day. You're 1.72 meters tall, from East China Maritime University. You haven't been single since birth, have you? Yes, I have. So your first kiss is still around? Yes. Your features are really so good-looking. Why hasn't anyone chased after you? No one has. Don't you think you're quite good-looking? Not really. Would you consider a long-distance relationship? I think I would. So you feel that companionship is very important, right? Yes, I really hope to have someone who can be with me in real life.
给你1000万，让你这辈子再也不碰男人，你愿意吗？
If I give you 10 million and you could never be with a man for the rest of your life, would you accept it? 10 million? If it's about sending flowers, then forget it. I wouldn't take it. Xiao Cao, 1.6 meters tall, from Baoshan, Shanghai. How many properties does your family have in Shanghai? 2. Postal code 310? Yes. What hobbies do you usually have? Just normal things. So what kind of personality in a girl do you like? Someone cheerful, who laughs easily. And what's your ideal lifestyle? Just like it is now. Are you experienced in dating? Not really. So is it more important to have compatible values or good looks? Values. What's the best cosmetic surgery for a man? Wrap. And for a woman? Nothing in particular, it's all fine. Do you accept going Dutch AA system in a relationship? Yes, I accept it. Why? I think it's pretty normal.
父母对你找对象有要求吗？
没有要求。
Do your parents have requirements for the person you date? No requirements. They just tell me to find someone quickly because I've never had a boyfriend. My mom even thought I was homosexual, haha. How tall are you? 1.68 meters. What do your parents do? My dad works for an airline company, my mom is a housewife. Do you think being well-matched in family background is important? Yes, I think it's very important. What do you think is the most handsome moment for a man? When he spends money. What's your ideal first boyfriend like? Gentle and tolerant.
你们觉得这相亲市场上是普信男？
Current reality in Chinese society paints a striking picture. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, by the end of 2023, the number of single adults had already surpassed 240 million, with more than 77 million people over the age of 35 still unmarried. This record-breaking figure shows how intense the pressures of the marriage market have become. The rapid rise of single youth and leftover women is not merely a personal issue, it directly affects birth rates, family structures, and the long-term demographics of China. China Social Trends reveals that as society chases material wealth and unrealistic, perfect standards, the true values of love, family, and mutual sacrifice are increasingly forgotten. We must remember, family is the most enduring foundation of a healthy society. Only by returning to traditional values, love, responsibility, and respect for one another can people build lasting, happy marriages. This is the message that China Social Trends hopes to deliver to all of you watching today. In your opinion, is the main reason why tens of millions of young Chinese remain unmarried due to women setting their standards too high, or because men lack responsibility and strength? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's debate. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next video. Thank you for watching. See you again in the upcoming videos.